The Gospel according to Matthew, chapter 12. At that time Jesus went through the grain fields on the Sabbath. His disciples were hungry, and they began to pluck heads of grain and to eat. When the Pharisees saw it, they said to him, "Look, your disciples are doing what is not lawful to do on the Sabbath." And he said to them, "Have you not read what David did when he and his companions were hungry? He entered the house of God and ate the bread of the presence, which it was not lawful for him or his companions to eat, but only for the priests. Or have you not read in the law that on the Sabbath the priests in the temple break the Sabbath, and yet they are guiltless? I tell you, something greater than the temple is here, but if you had known what this means, 'I desire mercy and not sacrifice,' you would not have condemned the guiltless, for the Son of Man is Lord of the Sabbath." There are times that I have quite a lot of sympathy with the Pharisees and to some extent the Sadducees, as both were committed to following the law as they understood it and had received it. I have sympathy for them, for rules provide a solid bedrock. They provide a stable foundation upon which to operate our lives. With clear rules, we know what we're supposed to be doing. We know how we're supposed to behave, and we have a basis for believing that we have a solid grip on the world and can understand what's going on around us. The problem is that sometimes we can also lose sight of the ultimate goal. If we slavishly follow the rules too closely, we can actually miss the entire purpose behind them. The law can, in our inexpert hands, become an ass. Jesus, as illustrated in today's Gospel reading, entirely understood this, and whilst we now layer on our own theological understanding of Jesus' coming into the world as being to complete the law, to fulfill it, at the time the Gospels were written, this theology had yet to be properly understood by anybody other than our Lord himself. As such, what he was saying about the Sabbath was shocking and revolutionary. You'll almost certainly be aware from the various Facebook postings, email messages, letters and telephone conversations with the clergy team, and no doubt conversations among yourselves, that the nation's clergy have been busy sifting through a long series of sometimes conflicting and unhelpfully vague documents that currently represent the law, in us so far as to being able to gradually loosen the binds that have held us together during lockdown. Over the past few weeks, we have trawled through, digested and implemented as best we can, sometimes confusing sets of rules that we've been given, and in doing so we have consistently tried to hold up that which is the most important, that which is the most valuable, and that which is the most relevant in how we have implemented the rules as we have received them, albeit that we have often received them late and incomplete. What exactly is a professional singer? How exactly do we implement social bubbles? How exactly are we supposed to maintain only 30 persons attending a funeral, a baptism or a wedding, when there is no such restriction on the number of people that may attend regular worship, save that which we can safely social distance in our respective buildings? What do we do if more people attend than we can accommodate? Will the law again change with regards to face masks in various venues, or possibly become mandatory for all public excursions? As you'll have gathered, we don't have all the answers, and it sometimes feels as if we're standing on shifting sands. And just as we've got ourselves feeling secure in one reality, then the ground underneath us shifts again, and we find ourselves recalibrating ourselves. We're always in motion, always adjusting, always seeking the firm foundations from which we can rebuild, whether that is rebuilding schools, workplaces, our family relationships, and, of course, our worship communities. We, of course, have the benefit of Jesus' example to guide us, something that the Pharisees lacked. For us, our actions and decisions are being informed by the common and overriding desire to love, with a particular focus on protecting the vulnerable. So whilst we are all seeking to follow the rules as they're laid down, we are able to put them into context and interpret them through the lens of striving to continue to be the body of Christ, both literally and metaphorically, both bodily and spiritually. As in so many other experiences we have shared in the past few weeks, there will likely be an ongoing recalibration as we test and discover where our firmer foundations now stand, and we will all be on slightly different stages on that path of discovery as to what is good and what is not, of what works well and what might be improved. And if we find that someone is not quite behaving as we might expect them to, might I suggest that we take another leaf out of Jesus' book? For, as he so succinctly put it, I have come for mercy and not sacrifice. Let's therefore take that to heart and be gentle with one another as we relearn what it means to be the body of Christ at this time, wherever we may be, and whomever we might be learning it with.